Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are strapping in for a really comprehensive look into the mind of Peter Thiel.
Oh, yeah. He's the co-founder of PayPal, Palantir.
Yeah.
One of the original architects of Silicon Valley.
And just easily one of the most, let's say, controversial thinkers operating today.
Right. And what we've done here is we've essentially curated the ultimate intellectual shortcut. We've taken his core philosophy
From where?
from his books, his, those foundational Stanford lectures, and decades of public statements. And we've synthesized it all into what we call our virtual impossible interview.
So our mission for you is to bypass all the noise, all the punditry. We want to understand the actual architecture of his thinking. Like, why does he hate competition? Why does he believe college is, well, basically a scam?
And of course, what his true fear is when it comes to artificial intelligence.
Thiel is notorious for his willingness to say things that, well, truths that the majority prefers to ignore.
His goal is not to comfort you. It's to challenge every single assumption you might have about economics, education, technology.
So if you're looking for lessons to apply to your career or maybe your next venture, you are definitely going to find some practical,
Albeit uncomfortable.
albeit very uncomfortable advice here. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We have to start with his most incendiary statement, the one that makes every economics professor just groan.
Oh, I know this one.
Competition is for losers. Period. I mean, that just flies in the face of everything we're taught about classical economics. Why does he reject that idea?
Well, he argues that the entire Western world really bought into this myth of perfect competition.
The Adam Smith idea.
Exactly, the Adam Smith neoclassical model. And that model assumes a marketplace where all the products are, basically interchangeable.
Okay, so if your product is substitutable, then what?
Then you are forced into a price war. It's a race to the bottom until your margins are completely crushed.
So if I open a corner coffee shop and there are 3 other identical coffee shops right across the street,
You're all doomed to struggle.
no matter how hard we work.
Precisely. You're all just fighting over pennies. Competition, in Thiel's view, isn't a healthy force. It's a destructive one. It makes companies waste all their energy just copying each other instead of, innovating.
Instead of creating something new.
Right. The goal should be to be the only one doing what you do, at least for a while.
That feels radical.
Yeah.
So what's the actual data? What's the evidence he uses to back this up?
Oh, the evidence is pretty staggering. He points to the concentration of value generation over the last 50 years.
Okay.
So get this. Between 1975 and 2020, just 4 companies, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they generated more economic value than the next 500 competitors combined.
Wow. Okay, so they weren't fighting for a slice of the pie.
They baked a whole new gigantic pie. And they did it by being not just a little better, but 10 times better. A 10x improvement.
They created their own category, a temporary, durable monopoly.
That's the key. Look at Google. They still hold, 92% of the global search market.
And Apple.
Apple's the perfect example. They don't compete on price with Samsung. They just built their own premium ecosystem where they can command like 30 to 40% gross margins.
It's the difference between trying to build a slightly cheaper hammer versus inventing the nail gun. The hammer guys are all fighting, but the nail gun inventor has the whole field to themselves.
That is a perfect analogy for his 10x rule. If you're not 10x better than the alternative, you're already competing, and he would say, you've already lost.
Okay, but when I hear someone defending monopolies, my consumer alarm bells start ringing.
Of course.
How does he justify this without it just sounding like a defense for, corporate greed and price gouging? Don't we, the consumers, end up paying for it?
This is where he makes a really crucial distinction. He separates good technological monopolies from bad entrenched ones.
And the data supports this.
He claims it does. He says good tech monopolies innovate so much that the consumer surplus they generate is massive.
What do you mean by consumer surplus?
I mean, think about it. Google search is free. WhatsApp completely eliminated SMS fees, which used to be, 20 cents a message?
Right, globally.
And that benefits billions of people at zero cost. Even the iPhone. If you adjust for inflation and all the utility packed into it, it's functionally 90% cheaper than comparable tech was in the 1990s.
So they create wealth much faster than they extract it. The bad monopolies, then, are the stagnant ones.
Precisely. The ones he really goes after are the ones protected by the government.
Yeah, quite.
He points to things like certain public education systems, the postal service, some areas of healthcare. In those systems, quality is low, costs are always high, and there's just no incentive to innovate.
you just mentioned the entrenched high-cost education system, which is a perfect transition.
Ah, yes.
This brings us to the second grenade Thiel has thrown. His deep, deep skepticism of higher education. I mean, the Thiel Fellowship literally pays smart kids to drop out.
And that skepticism is all rooted in the metrics. You have to remember, back in, say, 1970, going to university was a fantastic investment.
A no-brainer.
A total no-brainer. The ROI was something like 15 to 20% a year. It made financial sense for almost everyone.
But that landscape has just completely changed. The cost, the saturation.
Massively. I mean, according to recent Federal Reserve studies, the average student debt in the U.S. is now around $37,000.
And the return.
For a huge number of careers, the actual salary boost you get compared to a high school graduate is statistically zero. And for the bottom 40% of students, cognitively speaking, the data suggests college actually destroys net wealth.
It destroys wealth? How?
It forces them into debt without giving them the income boost to pay it off.
So if the economic return is vanishing for so many people, what is the university actually selling for, $300,000?
He argues it's selling a signal.
A signal.
It's an expensive, elaborate ritual designed to prove to future employers that you're compliant. It's a way of saying, look, I jumped through all the hoops, I paid the fee, I survived 4 years of bureaucracy, so I'm trustworthy.
It's a social stamp of approval.
Disguised as intellectual rigor. He calls it a regressive tax disguised as merit.
Wow.
It favors the people who already have the money and connections, and it charges them a fortune for a piece of paper that's mostly just a risk reduction tool for HR departments.
So this raises a huge question for you listening. Should everyone just drop out? I mean, when does Thiel admit that college is actually necessary?
He's pragmatic about it.
Yeah.
He'd say if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a traditional academic, you still need the degree. It's a legal requirement.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
He does note that AI will probably erode the value of those licenses pretty quickly.
But for the builders,
Yeah.
the entrepreneurs, the people actually creating new things.
For them, his answer is a hard no. He argues that 95% of the skills you actually need, the cutting-edge stuff, you learn it faster and way cheaper online, or even better, by working in a startup.
And it's not just the tuition, is it? It's the time.
The opportunity cost is brutal. Absolutely. Those 4 years in a lecture hall could have been spent building market share.
Mark Zuckerberg.
He is the canonical example.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard in 2004 to build Facebook. Those 4 years he saved. That translated directly into market dominance.
Yeah.
That head start was priceless.
Okay, let's shift gears to AI. This is a technology he's funding from, it seems, both sides.
Right. It's a fascinating paradox.
He's an investor in OpenAI, the big consumer-facing leader, but also in Palantir, which is kind of the military-industrial counterpoint.
Yes.
So is he an optimist or a pessimist about our AI future?
He would say the question itself is framed incorrectly. He doesn't see AI as some independent agent with its own will.
So it's not about whether AI saves or destroys us.
No. The real question is, who controls it and with what values? AI is just an amplifier. It amplifies the intentions of its creators.
Okay, so let's dig into that dual reality with his investments. OpenAI on one side.
OpenAI. It started as this idealistic nonprofit to democratize AI for everyone. Today, it's a, $157 billion company that Thiel himself has noted is rushing towards AGI, artificial general intelligence, without brakes, speed over safety.
And then there's Palantir on the other side.
Palantir uses AI specifically for Western governments, for defense, for intelligence. It's explicitly a tool to defend against geopolitical rivals.
So his fear isn't Skynet. It's not the robots taking over. What's the practical fear?
He has two main fears. The first one is what he calls the trivialization of superintelligence.
Meaning?
That we build these godlike machines, and then we just use them to create better advertisements for toothpaste. Just an epic cosmic waste of potential.
And second, more immediate fear.
Geopolitical domination by our rivals.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, then the real danger is Western complacency.
That's the core of his warning. The West has become obsessed with sort of soft innovation, making a better mobile app, copying TikTok faster.
Right. Consumer stuff.
Meanwhile, our rivals, specifically China, are focused on hard technology. They're building modular nuclear reactors, hypersonic weapons, and deploying AI in their military.
We're focused on entertainment. They're focused on infrastructure and defense.
That's his fear. And his conclusion is pretty stark. He says, the AI will amplify the civilization that dominates it, And today, we're losing.
That brings us to Thiel himself, his personal political complexity, which just baffles so many people. He's a libertarian, he's openly gay, a practicing Christian, and he's also a major donor to Trump-aligned candidates and is staunchly anti-woke. How do these pieces fit together?
He argues they only seem contradictory if you accept the political boxes created by the mainstream media.
It's the neat little label.
Exactly. He just rejects those categories.
So how does he explain his choices?
He frames it not as ideology, but as a calculation of consequences. He supports anyone he believes will defend technological innovation and, crucially, curbs suffocating bureaucracy.
So bureaucracy is the enemy.
Bureaucracy is the great enemy of progress, just like competition is the enemy of profit. His view is that American institutions have ossified. You can't build things anymore because of red tape and regulatory capture.
So his alignment is just with whoever will clear the path for builders.
That's it. He sees most of mainstream politics as a reality show where everyone pretends to be surprised, and he just calculates which players will reduce the friction for technological advancement.
You know, the synthesis of this whole discussion, from monopolies to politics, it seems to come back to one core intellectual discipline.
It really does. The key takeaway, the only real competitive advantage left, he says, is the ability to think in first principles and say unpopular truths.
Okay, for anyone listening who isn't a philosopher, what exactly is first principles thinking?
It means you break a problem down to its most fundamental truths, its axioms, instead of just reasoning by analogy.
So instead of asking, how do we make cars a little bit better?
Right, that's analogy. You would ask, what are the fundamental physics of personal transportation? And from there, you might get to electric cars or a hyperloop. It's about starting from scratch.
And that's the rarest commodity because it forces you to question everything everyone else takes for granted.
It forces you to escape the consensus, and the consensus is where competition lives.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Let's try to synthesize the 5 main actionable lessons from this deep dive.
Okay. First, competition is mostly a myth for value creation. You should be seeking small, durable monopolies where your product is 10x better.
Second,
the university system is becoming more of an expensive signal than a knowledge institution. You have to be brutal when you calculate its real ROI.
third, AI.
AI will determine who rules the 21st century, and Western complacency about hard tech is a massive risk.
Fourth, politics.
Political action should be a calculation of consequences. Who is clearing the way for the builders? And fifth,
The big one.
the big one. Thinking in first principles is the only way to generate a truly new idea.
These are challenging ideas, so we want to leave you with something to put into action. We have 2 challenges based on Thiel's thinking.
Okay, challenge 1. Identify one area of your life or your business where you are competing instead of creating. Maybe you're competing on price or for a promotion using the same skills as everyone else.
Then what?
Write down your escape route. What is the 10x solution you could build in the next 6 months to just exit that race entirely?
And challenge 2.
Calculate the real cost of your last degree or certification. The money, yes, but also the huge opportunity cost of your time. Then ask yourself honestly, could you have learned 95% of that in 6 months using apprenticeships, practice, or free resources?
Use that answer to guide your next big investment in yourself.
And as we wrap this up, we want to leave you with Thiel's most essential, provocative closing thought. It really summarizes his entire philosophy.
He argues the most important question you can ask yourself is, what important truth do very few people agree with you on? So take a moment right now. What piece of conventional wisdom in your job, your social circle, do you believe is just fundamentally wrong?
Because that starting point,
Yeah.
that might just be the location of your next monopoly.
Your next great innovation and your escape from the loser's race. Until the next deep dive, keep building.